Jay Leno's $25,000 Duesenberg is now worth $20 million, the most expensive car he has ever owned. In 1934, a car was built for $25,000, the most expensive Duesenberg ever made. Today, it is estimated at $20 million. The man who owns it is Jay Leno. The man who originally ordered it was the president of a pharmaceutical empire during the Great Depression, a time when the average American car cost $600. The car was so controversial that Duesenberg could never show it publicly. It ended up as a tow truck. Then it was bought for $400. Then it was rescued for $500,000 by a comedian who had never even seen it in person. This is a full story of the most expensive car Jay Leno has ever owned, and the 9 other extraordinary machines that sit below it in his collection. Car number 10, the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer, estimated $275,000. The oldest car in Jay Leno's collection is steam-powered, made largely of wood, has caught fire at least once while he was driving it, and once earned him a speeding ticket because the original owner's manual instructed drivers to increase speed in order to extinguish flames. That is the kind of story that only happens to Jay Leno, and only with a 1906 Stanley Steamer. The Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer was commissioned for the 1906 Vanderbilt Cup Elimination Trial, one of the first major automobile races held in the United States. Freelance Stanley fell ill before the event, and the cars were not delivered in time to compete, leaving a small number of these purpose-built racers without a race to run. Leno acquired his example, and his team upgraded the original 23-inch boiler to a 30-inch unit with a larger burner, added 2 electric pumps to maintain steam pressure, and fitted hydraulic brakes using drums borrowed from a Jaguar XK120. It is estimated at between $200,000 and $400,000. Car number 9, the Blastolene Special Tank Car, estimated $350,000. The Blastolene Special is a one-off vehicle designed by Randy Grubb and Mike Leeds of the Blastolene Brothers team, powered by a 29-liter V12 engine originally fitted to an M47 Patton battle tank. Leno sent the engine to Gale Banks Engineering to be twin-turbocharged, raising output from the original 810 horsepower to approximately 1,600 horsepower. The finished vehicle is 20 feet long, weighs 10,000 pounds, and is fully street legal in California because Leno had his mechanics make the modifications necessary to satisfy road registration requirements. The car appeared as the inspiration for a fictional vehicle in a major Hollywood film. It is unique in the world and valued at approximately $350,000. Though its one-of-one status means that any auction would depend entirely on how much a specific buyer wanted it. Car number 8, the 1963 Chrysler Turbine car, estimated $415,000. Chrysler built 55 Turbine cars in 1963 as part of a public demonstration program, handing them out to ordinary American families for short-term use to gather real-world feedback on gas turbine automotive technology. The cars could run on diesel fuel, jet fuel, heating oil, peanut oil, or tequila. At the end of the program, Chrysler destroyed all but 9 of the 55 examples to avoid paying import duties on the Italian-built bodies. Of the 9 survivors, most went to museums. 2 went to private collectors. Jay Leno owns one of them. Leno paid approximately $415,000 for his Chrysler Turbine car and describes it as one of the most unusual driving experiences in his collection. The turbine engine produces a distinctive high-pitched whine at idle and takes a few seconds to spool up to full power, but once on boost, delivers a completely seamless, vibration-free acceleration that no piston engine can replicate. Car number 7, the 2005 Porsche Carrera GT, estimated $1 million plus. Leno purchased his Porsche Carrera GT new, paying approximately $450,000 at the time of delivery. The Carrera GT was powered by a 5.7-liter naturally aspirated V10 engine, producing 612 horsepower, originally designed for a Le Mans racing program that Porsche canceled. then repurposed into one of the most driver-focused road cars ever produced by a mainstream manufacturer. Only 1,270 Carrera GTs were built, and production ended in 2006 after just 2 model years. Comparable Carrera GTs have sold at auction for more than $1 million in recent years, and Leno's example benefits from his documented ownership and the fact that he has driven it consistently, making it a genuinely used example of a car most collectors garage without ever turning the key. He bought it when new and has driven it ever since. Car number 6, the 2014 McLaren P1, estimated $2 million plus. Leno's McLaren P1 was the first example of the hybrid hypercar delivered to the United States, and Leno was the first person outside the McLaren factory team to drive one. He purchased it new in volcanic yellow for just over $1 million and has kept it since. Only 375 P1s were produced across the model's entire run, and the combination of its 903 combined horsepower from the twin turbocharged V8 and electric motor system, its 217 miles per hour top speed, and its status as the first of its kind delivered to America has driven auction values for comparable examples past $2 million. Leno has described it as one of the most technologically sophisticated cars he has ever driven. Car number 5, the 2006 EcoJet, priceless. The EcoJet does not appear in auction records because it has never been sold and exists in only one example on Earth. It was built through a collaboration between Leno, General Motors, and Honeywell, with Leno drafting the original design concepts and GM engineering the finished vehicle. At its heart sits a Honeywell LT-101 turbine engine, the same unit found in Bell 222 helicopters, running on biodiesel made from soybean oil. Because it required jet fuel to start before switching to biodiesel once warmed up, the EcoJet operates on 2 separate fuel systems simultaneously. GM built the EcoJet for Leno without charge because the car served as a demonstration of alternative fuel technology, and as a result, Leno holds the only example that will ever exist. No valuation methodology can be applied to a one-of-one vehicle designed and built in partnership with a major manufacturer for a famous collector who has no intention of selling it. Car number 4, the 1932 Duesenberg S.J. Murphy convertible, estimated $2 million plus. The S.J. designation on Leno's 1932 Duesenberg indicates it was fitted with a centrifugal supercharger that pushed output from 265 to approximately 320 horsepower, making it the most powerful American production car of the early 1930s. The Murphy Body Company of Pasadena produced some of the most sought-after coachwork ever fitted to a Duesenberg chassis, and the convertible configuration is consistently among the most desirable body styles at auction. A 1931 Model J Murphy with a disappearing convertible top sold for over $4 million at RM Sotheby's in 2023. Leno's supercharged S.J. example, in Murphy convertible form, would be conservatively expected to reach at least $2 million, and potentially significantly more depending on the specific quality of its coachwork and restoration condition. Car number 3, the 1931 Duesenberg Model J Town Car, estimated $1.5 to $3 million. Leno's Model J Town Car is the foundation vehicle on which the Walker Coupe was eventually based, and it represents the standard against which every subsequent Duesenberg is measured. The straight 8 engine displaces 7.0 liters, was produced by Lycoming to Duesenberg's own engineering specifications, and delivers 265 horsepower in naturally aspirated form. Because every Model J was fitted with a custom body by independent coach builders, no 2 examples are identical, and values at auction range from $500,000 to over $3 million, depending on the coach builder, body style, condition, and provenance. The town car configuration, with its separated chauffeur and passenger compartments, represents the most formal and expensive interpretation of the Model J and sits at the upper end of that range. Car number 2, the 1994 McLaren F1, estimated $20 million. Jay Leno purchased his 1994 McLaren F1 from Ben Pond Jr., its only previous owner, for approximately $800,000, roughly the car's original cost when new. The McLaren F1 was designed by Gordon Murray and powered by a 6.1-liter V12 built by BMW's Motorsport division, producing 618 horsepower in road specification and achieving a top speed of 240.1 miles per hour, which held the Guinness World Record as the fastest production car on Earth for over a decade. The engine bay is lined with gold foil for thermal management. The driver sits in the center of the car, flanked by 2 passengers, and the entire structure is built from carbon fiber monocoque, a technology then exclusively associated with Formula One. Only 106 McLaren F1 road cars were ever built. In 2019, an F1, built to LM specification, sold at RM Sotheby's for $19.8 million. A comparable standard road car sold for $20.46 million. Leno has stated that the last offer he received for his F1 was $20 million, which he declined. He drives it regularly and has said he would save it first in the event of a fire at the Big Dog Garage. Car number 1. The 1934 Duesenberg Walker Coupe, estimated $20 million and rising. The Walker Coupe is not simply the most expensive car Jay Leno has ever owned. It is the most historically significant one-of-one automobile in his collection, and the one he has described as the car he would be most reluctant to part with of all 180-plus vehicles under his roof. Josiah Lilly, president of Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals, ordered the Walker Coupe in 1934 for $25,000, the highest price ever paid for any Duesenberg. At a time when the median American income was $1,368 per year, Lilly spent more than 18 years of average wages on a single automobile. He wanted aerodynamic bodywork, a V-shaped windshield, integrated headlights, and biplane bumpers inspired by aircraft design. The Walker Body Company delivered all of it. Then Duesenberg discovered they could never publicly display it because showing a $25,000 car during the Great Depression would have destroyed both the manufacturer's reputation and Lilly's own standing as the head of a pharmaceutical company whose products millions of struggling Americans depended on. The car was quietly retired, eventually repurposed as a tow truck, and acquired somewhere along its journey for $400. Duesenberg historian Randy Ema tracked it down and told Leno about it. Leno began funding restoration work before the purchase was legally complete, ultimately investing $500,000 in a car he did not yet own. He acquired it in 1993 for $500,000 total. The 420 cubic inch straight-8 engine features 4 valves per cylinder, produces 265 horsepower, and Leno has noted on camera that the aerodynamic bodywork measurably reduces the engine speed required to maintain 70 miles per hour compared to a standard Duesenberg, and substantially quiets the cabin. The biplane bumpers work. The swept roofline works. Josiah Lilly accidentally commissioned a car with genuine aerodynamic advantages in 1934, simply because he wanted to look like the future. A 1935 Duesenberg SSJ, one of only 2 built, sold at Gooding & Company's 2018 Pebble Beach auction for $22 million, setting the record for the most expensive American car ever publicly auctioned. The Walker Coupe, as the only Duesenberg with aerodynamic coachwork and the most expensive Duesenberg ever built, is estimated at $20 to $30 million. Leno has declined every offer. The car that cost $25,000 in 1934 was acquired for $400 and rescued for $500,000. Now sits in Burbank, worth more than the entire collection of most serious private car collectors in the world. And Jay Leno drives it in California winters because it keeps him warm.